Alright, y'all. So today we have some pretty big Spider-Man related news I wanted to quickly give you my thoughts on. So Sony just recently announced that they're developing a Spider Punk spin-off film in the Spider-Verse films. So this is going to be kind of a spin-off based on that variant of Spider-Man called Spider Punk, who was voiced by Daniel Kaluuya, if I'm saying his last name correctly. The guy from Get Out, he also voiced him into Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I also got another guy that's going to be co-writing the film alongside with Daniel called Akon. I think he's like a partner he's worked with before on previous projects. I know that Daniel's also working on a live-action Barney film for A24, which is really interesting. Regardless, Sony announced that they're in development with this Spider-Punk spin-off film. It's not really clear beyond that what else other details that are going to be involved with this movie. I'm assuming obviously Daniel is going to voice the character again, and of course I'm assuming it's going to be animated. So my quick thoughts on this whole thing. We're kind of all waiting on Beyond the Spider-Verse, which is coming out in 2027. And my quick thoughts on them announcing a spinoff based on the Spider-Punk character that was shown off in Across the Spider-Verse. I actually think this is a really good idea. I think it's smart on Sony that they're going to be developing this movie and kind of expanding more of the characters that we saw in the Spider-Verse films, right? And it makes sense. I mean, those movies were full of variants of Spider-Man that were really interesting and unique. And that's just, like I said, that breeds, depending on how successful the next one's going to be, that just breeds, like spin-offs, right? That breeds a franchise. I mean, that's like really great stuff. I think it's smart for them to announce development and like work on projects like this instead of doing things like what they were doing with Kraven the Hunter and Madam Web, which were complete disasters, and no one really wanted to see those movies. So like I said, I think it's smart for Sony to instead do more animated stuff, kind of get more films revolving around the whole Spider-Verse films, and in this case, the Spider-Punk spin-off film in development. Just makes a lot more common sense, right? I'm pretty excited. I liked his character in Across the Spider-Verse for my quick opinions on this whole thing. I think he's a pretty new character to the Marvel continuity. I think he was only introduced in 2015 in some kind of like Spider-Man crossover event, if I remember correctly. And I liked him a lot in Across the Spider-Verse. So I think having his own solo spin-off film, maybe either exploring his origins or whatever happens after Beyond the Spider-Verse, is going to be really interesting. And I mean, either way, more Spider-Man animated films I'm down for. They've been very successful already, and I think having more movies based on characters in this new Spider-Verse set of movies is already a great thing. So I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. I think this is really good news. I've also heard some weird rumors that they might be coming up with some kind of like Spider-Woman movie or something, or maybe a Venom animated series revolving around the Spider-Verse. Like I said, those are just, I don't know if those are confirmed. I know that the Spider-Punk spinoff was confirmed to be in development just today. But for those other two projects, I'm not entirely sure. But if those are happening, I'm also down for those as well, just because I don't know, Sony's been really killing it with animation lately, right? I mean, the Spider-Verse films have been all great, 10 out of 10 movies. I'm really looking forward to Beyond the Spider-Verse. So like I said, the future, I think, for Spider-Man with Sony, depending on hopefully they don't mess up the next one, because with Sony and them making stuff, it's always kind of a roll of the dice kind of thing. Regardless, they've been killing it a bit with their animated films, so I think it's really the obvious choice to keep developing spin-offs, and like this, for example, the Spider-Punk film that they recently announced in development. That's obviously a much smarter decision than just announcing another Spider-Man, not Spider-Man related spin-off. All right, y'all. So just kind of want to give you my quick thoughts, just kind of random off the top thoughts on this recent big Spider-Man news. All right, hopefully y'all have a good day. Peace.